Hello guys, in this video we have Vice President Kamala Harris versus Lee Zeldin, who had a pretty good run for New York governor. He nearly won it, but he ended up losing by 6%, so he had a very good performance in a very blue state. So I don't think he would be I don't even think he would be that bad of a Republican candidate. And he has some weaknesses in the Rust Belt here and there because he is anti-union and not as much as a populist as other Republicans are. So let's get into this election prediction. I do think Zeldin have a lot of strengths in the rural areas, which is one advantage he had. First off, New York and New Jersey going to be demoting them to likely states. I think Zeldin would only lose New York by 8 to 7% against Harris, while New Jersey, Harris wins by 9. He'll definitely bring it down under 10 just because of his home state region advantage in New York. I think he could appeal pretty well to New Jersey as well. State of Ohio, honestly, just through the rural areas alone, I think he could overpower Harris, even though he's not as much of a populist. He could just pretty much point out how Harris isn't a populist at all and how she really isn't a good fit for the conservatives in the state or just moderate voters in general. But he isn't a moderate himself, so that's an issue for him. The state of Texas and Florida, honestly, he would probably pretty easily win both these states by over 10 just because of how unpopular Harris is in Texas, especially, and Florida is becoming a super red state nowadays. North Carolina would also just barely go over likely a 5.1% victory margin, I would say, while Georgia just barely flips to Zeldin. Harris would have pretty good turnout from African American voters. However, we did see voters reject Stacey Abrams before. Stacey Abrams isn't even as hated as a national figure as Harris is with independent voters, which is why I think Georgia would go to Zeldin narrowly. But the trends in Georgia are very favorable towards Democrats, so it's only a narrow tilt flip. State of Colorado still think would vote for Harris by over 10, while New Mexico probably would land just narrowly over 5.5% victory for her in this state. Virginia also just about 7 to 8% win for Harris in this state, while Zeldin would probably definitely win Nevada and probably narrowly win Arizona. So I put Nevada's lean here. Okay. Last few areas. Nebraska's second, I think, would narrowly land with Zeldin just because of Harris's unpopularity. While in the New England area, I could definitely see Maine going down to a lean margin, while Zeldin wins made second here. New Hampshire, though, still think Harris will get a super narrow victory over Lee Zeldin. I mean, the state did vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and Harris and Clinton are kind of similar in the ways I see. So I think she could pull off a narrow victory here like Clinton did all those years ago. Plus Lee Zeldin on abortion, he's pretty hardline Republican. And he's hardline Republican on a lot of issues, which isn't really that good of a fit for New Hampshire. So Harris just wins New Hampshire solely by being a little bit more moderate than Lee Zeldin is on the issues. Minnesota, this is barely a 5% win for Harris here, but her unpopularity in the Midwest and Rust Belt region might doom her. She still would win Michigan, honestly, probably by a lean margin, just with really good African American turnout in Detroit, offsetting any rural losses. While the state of Wisconsin would narrowly back, honestly, just probably by a lean margin because of how unpopular Harris is. And plus, Zeldin would overperform in the rural counties like he did in New York. And Pennsylvania would narrowly go to Zeldin as well because, again, I do think independent voters will narrowly side with him, but I could see them maybe going for Harris. But then again, her unpopularity is pretty low in the U.S. I really think Democrats should not run her in 2024. So that's my election prediction between Zeldin and Harris. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.